if you need to accept. And usually we share this videos with our community, so then the people who could not come can have a, it's not the same, right? When you are practicing, it's a lot of practice that we are going to have. But it's good to have a taste and to see how it went.
Great.
Matt, you're there.
Yeah, sorry, I had to go and do something.
No problem.
No worries. We were just glad to see you were there. Okay, and Heather's coming.
I'm here, just arriving.
No worries. Hi, Heather. And okay, so we are doing, did everyone get the renaming? Maybe not. I'll put it in one more time. So just doing a little renaming to get ourselves settled into what we're coming in with today, whatever feeling you have without the need to change it, just whatever you're coming in with. So, and Carolina is going to get us grounded.
Yeah, so if you want to stop your video for a while, just to feel more comfortable, if you want to stretch a little bit, move your body, it's always good. If you want to stand up, also is good. And if you want to be in the chair, take a comfortable seat. And you may close your eyes and just allow the natural breathing. And notice the air coming in and out. You may inhale through your nose, hold, and exhale through your mouth. And every time that you are exhaling, you just relax your body. Relax any tension you may feel in your body. And while you are breathing, just think about the people who have walked and care for the land you are living, the lands that you are walking. Acknowledge them and name them. And while you are breathing, express your gratitude to these people and to yourself. And feel your feet grounded on the floor, on the ground, and just notice an energy coming from the earth, going through the bottom of your feet, coming through your legs, and coming up through your spine. And this beautiful energy goes up to your head. And you're going to be filled with this good, bright energy. Just take a few breaths very consciously and open your camera when you feel ready.
So we're just going to introduce ourselves a little bit. I'm Jane DiGiacomo, and I'm working with the team of facilitators at Virtual Facilitation. I also work with the local hospice society here, managing that whole service that we provide in our community. And so in the context of what I do in my community, there's a lot of work in our groups, both in person and online, with silence and contemplation and holding space. And so this is why this topic was really important to me and why I wanted to bring some of that work that can be done, what's possible to do online, into this community, into this virtual facilitation community. Well, yeah, Carolina.
Yeah, and I'm Carolina. So glad to be here with you all with this topic. This is very important for me, this topic, because I do Kundalini Yoga every morning for 15 years. And I just noticed that it just bring my light to my day and more serenity. And also how to bring this same vibration or the same energy to the corporations that we work with, all the organizations that we work with. So this is kind of my job, if I can say that. So how to bring this silence, how to bring this inner peace to work. I know that we have busy lives. And so this is something that I have been working, I don't know, for maybe 15 years. And so I'm very, very happy that we pair up, Jane and I, and we craft a beautiful 1 hour and a half for you. Jane, you can talk more about that.
Yeah, so we today, I put it in the chat, are going to meet for an hour and a half. We'll try to get you out of here right on time. We will do lots of some things one-on-one, some things in triads and smaller groups, and then some just together as a larger group. And it would be good to have some pen and paper handy. So when we do a little bit of reflection, you can use that if you wish to, and you might even wish to have colored pens if you happen to have those available, or pencils, but you don't need them. So our purpose today, though, together is to experience and learn about bringing silence, contemplation, and well-held space into our facilitations. So that's our goal for today. Karenina.
To start off knowing each other, we are going to do this abundant greetings. And this is a way to not just say, hi, how are you? I'm fine, thanks, and you? This is the first thing that I learned in English. So we are so, like shallow when we say things like that. And just, we're going to have more time to introduce ourselves. And so how it's gonna work? You're going to be in triads, and you're gonna have, each person gonna have 3 minutes, and you may use the whole 3 minutes. And if you don't want to say anything else, you just stay in silence, but use this 3 minutes. And you can choose, there are some prompts here in the chat, and you can choose one of them or 2 or 3 of them, and then you can just introduce yourself from there. And so when you finish your 3 minutes, then it's time for the other one, and then the other one. Okay, so in total you have kind of 10 minutes. So not at 3 plus 3 plus 3 equal 10.
Okay, off you go. You going? Did she go?
Yeah, she's.
Oh, there she is. It's just a little slow. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. Do you like my bell?
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear it? Good.
Oh no.
You didn't hear it. Okay, make sure I can hear it. Can you hear it?
You have to go to audio settings.
Uh-huh.
And there is suppress breakout noise. You have to take it off.
Okay. Why am I not getting that? Settings is not coming up. Oh, I see it over here. I see it. Yeah. Suppress breakout noise.
Did we pop back too early?
Yes.
We were a group of 2, so maybe we had that extra time.
Sure, you had. Was good?
Really wonderful. And realizing just, I just saw this poster, this is what I need to do, and I'm just already realizing it really is. Thank you.
I think it's interesting because only because of the kind of the topic or, the theme, everybody comes like, oh, okay, I'm here, like calm and it's good. Okay, all back.
Yeah, lovely. So you're all abundantly connected now, hopefully. Okay, we're just going to build on that connection with some connection to ourselves. So we're going to do a bit of a guided meditation here. So, and we're just going to practice being in our bodies. And so definitely turn your cameras off and find a space, the right position for you where you can still hear me. So it could be lying on the floor, it could be sitting in a chair, it could be sitting on the ground, whatever really, really works for you. Just take a couple of breaths in that space that you're in right now. And I'm just going to warn you in my quiet voice that I do have a dog in my office with me. So you hear a little bit of a yap, that's what it is, so don't be alarmed. So sitting in this position, just remember that your breath is always your anchor during this practice. You can always use that to re-ground you into this present moment because we do get distracted. And in this practice, we're going to be scanning our body. So first, feeling your feet, touching the floor, however they fall, noticing the feeling in the soles of your feet, the toe joints, the tops of your feet, and using some curiosity, moving up to your ankle joints, just letting them be, noticing what's there, and then up into the calf, and then noticing the skin all over your feet. And as you move up the legs, always remembering what's the sensation of the skin, but also what's inside as you move up through your calves into your knees, your thighs, allowing your legs to be heavy, just noticing any sensations without the need to shift or change. Using that curiosity, move up into your torso. What's there? Feeling your belly. Stop there and notice the breath coming and going from that center point in your body, whether it's in the belly or the rib cage or up near your throat. Just feeling the sensation of that breath in your torso. And then moving up to the shoulders and out into the arms, feeling all those joints, going all the way through to the elbows, the wrists, and all the way out to the fingertips, just being curious and allowing all of that to be as it is. Noticing your neck and your head and how that holds maybe a different kind of space in your body, but just noticing the physical sensation in your head, your face, and your neck. Reconnecting with that breath, anchoring you. Allow some ease into the flow of your breath and throughout your whole body. And coming out of this scanning practice, just take a moment to express some gratitude to yourself for giving yourself the time to do this practice today. And when you're ready, open up your eyes. If they were closed, reposition yourself if you have to, so you can turn your camera back on, but take your time. Okay. And that's a great one to do, by the way, at any point in time. People always feel like they have to be lying flat on the floor for a body scan practice, but it is really for any moment in your life. So we're going to now practice with something that comes out of some compassion resilience work that I do with professionals, usually groups of professionals who are experiencing some level of compassion fatigue. And so this practice, now that we're all hopefully settled in our bodies, is a little bit more about the way we relate to the world and the way we think about the world. And it's especially great to do this when you're in a challenging situation or working with somebody who's challenging. So again, this is going to be a contemplation that I'm going to guide you through in the larger group now. And then we're going to have an opportunity to work with it together in a smaller group setting where you'll be guiding each other. So lots of time for reflection today. So you can close your camera if you want, but you don't have to for this one. And you can close your eyes if you'd like. And we just call this practice Just Like Me. So you may have done it before, but you can always do it again. And we start in this practice with thinking about a challenging situation or a person who is challenging in your life. Working to really visualize them, really see them in your mind's eye, maybe calling to mind some specific characteristic of that person, whether it's, the way they look, something that they wear, maybe an aroma that you associate with them, anything that really calls them to mind. If you're finding it hard to work with someone who's challenging, it's easier to do it with someone you love and you have a good connection with. So feel free to make that person someone you have a good connection with. And I'm just going to ask you, as you call to mind that person, to contemplate these statements. Just like me, this person is seeking happiness. Just like me, this person has experienced suffering. Just like me, this person has caused suffering. This person is loved, just like me. This person loves, just like me. Just like me, this person has experienced loneliness and pain. Just like me, this person is uncomfortable right now. Just like me, this person is full of energy and strength. Just like me, this person has made mistakes. Just like me, this person is trying to avoid suffering in their life. Just like me, this person is learning about life. Just like me, this person has insecurities and doubts. Just like me, this person is full of potential. Just like me, this person has regrets. Just like me, this person has vulnerabilities. Just like me, this person is seeking to fulfill their needs. Just like me, this person is seeking happiness in their life. This person is awesome, just like me. This person is awesome, just like me. And when you're ready, you can turn your cameras back on. And we're going to put you off into groups, triads, to practice this. I'm going to be with one of the groups. And the idea in the groups is just to, because there's this element of having to deliver the space of silence and contemplation in an online facilitation. And so we want to give some of you the chance to experience that. So we're going to put you in triads, and you're going to choose a facilitator in the group. So somebody who's going to read the statements. Carolina has posted the statements in the chat, or is posting them. There's 2 blocks there, notice, because we can't fit it all in one block. And the other 2 are just the person who's facilitating is going to close their camera, and the other 2 are just going to look at each other. So we're adding in a little element here of contemplating each other as these statements are being read to you. So we'll do that. It'll take about 5 minutes, and you'll stay in that group for some debriefing with each other about, you can go through what you experienced in that contemplation, what you experienced delivering it, and you'll have 4 minutes for that. So you're going into the group for 9 minutes. Okay, ready, Carolina?
Yes, off we go. Yes. Yes, and then just contemplate the other one. It's good.
Sorry. And I'm just looking, Gay's going to leave us. Come back if you can, Gay.
Bye, Gay.
Okay. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay, off you go to your mirrors. Okay.
Yeah, now I just forgot recording. So
Of course, and I've got it right here, like a giant pink note.
we're recording that, and then just to bring what they are doing. They're doing 1, 2, 4 all in silence. So first they go to one room by themselves, looking to yourself in a kind of a mirror that we have in Zoom for 1 minute. And then after this 1 minute, they hide self-view and go to a pair for 2 minutes, and then in groups of 4 for 3 minutes. I said 4, but it's 3 minutes. And
Okay,
then
and I think that, yeah, and I think they're going to come back because I don't think I set it to stay open. Or should I just keep it open and move them?
keep it open. Keep it open.
Okay, so I'm going to keep it open then and move them. Okay, I'll go do that. So after that experience, we thought we'd give you an opportunity to reconsider, if you want to, what feeling you have right now. So rename yourself if you're coming to a different place at this point. And we're just going to also put in the chat whatever whatever the highlight was from your group. So if there was a highlight of your or some commonality, just go ahead and put that in the chat. Other highlights? High fatigue. Yeah. Looking is hard. Yeah.
It's a good one.
Soothing. Yeah, that's true. I really feel that. Okay. Intimacy. Yeah, for sure, Raquel. We're going to move on to you, Carolina.
Yeah, the last exercise. And so we will need a paper and colorful pen, crayons, or any kind of pen you have available. And we are going to do a drawing together. And our main purpose here is to review insights and paths forward through a nonverbal exercise.
Digging out my old real world facilitators kit here. My old
Oh, good.
fat pens.
Yeah.
Getting a bit dusty.
Good to get out of this dust. Start using again. Okay, so I'm going to share this screen here to guide you. If you want, if you need and you want, you just can close your camera. And we're going to do this drawing together. So we're going to draw together. And so we are going to draw these 5 symbols. And so the circle means wholeness, the spiral, chaos and change, and the star, or can be just a cross, people and relationship, the triangle, challenge or goal, and the rectangle, support and structure. And what you're going to draw, it's this question here. So how do you see your journey forward using silence, space and contemplation in your facilitation practice? And you're going to start drawing a first draft, just using those 5 symbols. And you can combine them, you can put one together to another, in between, inside, whatever you feel it's right for you. So it's just putting all the symbols, not all, if you want to use just 1 or 2, it's up to you. So 3 minutes for that.
Do we use the same colors or any color?
Any color.
Yeah.
Anything you.
And the idea is to also be drawing things about how we would try to use this practice. And yeah. So the symbols are just decoration on another drawing that we're making.
Oh, no, it's just the actual drawing. It's the symbols.
No, I don't follow you, Carolina. Sorry.
Oh, you're going to draw.
So we should only draw the symbols, or we can draw other things too?
I'm going to show this. See this?
Okay.
Drawings?
Okay. So the language in the drawing must be the symbols. Yeah.
Yes.
I see.
Now we are going to have 3 minutes more for a second draft. What it means that you are going to refine or use more colors or exaggerate shapes and size. Just refine what you have done. So 3 minutes more for that.
Clarifying question. When you said second draft, do you want to start a new one, refine what we have, either way?
Either way, so what you feel right for you. You can just refine the one that you have, or if you want to start again another one, it's fine too.
Great, thank you.
I'm going to stop sharing here, and we're going to the next step. And I'm going to put in the chat so it's easy to follow. And you're going to be in small groups and triads, and you're going to have 3 minutes for interpretation and 1 minute for the author to share. So what means is I'm going to share my drawing, and so the other two is going to interpret and see what they see here. And they start talking for 3 minutes. And after these 3 minutes, I'm going to say, oh, I was trying to say this or that. And then I have 1 minute to maybe say thank you, or maybe, because usually people say things that we never ever thought about. It is in your drawing. So this is how we are going to do. So 4 minutes each person and rotating. So we have 12 minutes in total.
Okay, off you go. And Heather, you're the lucky person who gets to stay here with us and interpret our drawings with us.
And if you don't mind, we keep recording so that it's good for others to see the drawing together.
Is that okay for you, Heather?
That's wonderful.
Great.
One start.
I'll show mine and you guys can, oh, I forgot to add something. And then you guys can interpret. It might be hard to see, but we'll see.
Let me just bring you full.
Wow, lots of chaos or change, lots of change.
Mm.
And people with their goals in their hearts. And
I have to look at the symbols again. I'm not,
yeah, I know by heart. So
exactly.
easier for me.
And lots of support structure, is that support structure within structure? So each person has their own structure that's held within a larger structure, and all of that creates the wholeness within each individual as well as between the collective.
Mm-hmm. And for you, Jane.
Mm.
Yeah, I would say actually the little things in the middle were actually triangles. Those were not very good at drawing. That was the challenge, like the idea of holding the challenge in our heart space. You know, the challenge is what breaks us open, right? So I wanted that to be represented in each person. And then, yeah, what you said, Heather, was totally right, though. A sense of all the different ways we support each other with our one-to-one connections or connections in groups, just like we do in this facilitation, where sometimes you're supporting each other one-to-one, sometimes you're in a group of 4, sometimes you're in the whole group. So these different support structures and the chaos all around with the different colors for me were like the chaos of our emotions and the chaos of fruitfulness, you know, change and development of things, and the chaos that's like warning chaos, like, ooh, bad chaos, you know. And sometimes chaos is good and sometimes chaos, you know, a warning. So, but I felt this circle around it all was important because it is wholeness, like it contains everything. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Do you want to go next, Heather?
Sure. I was just like, I didn't know which. I'm just like, how do I share? I kind of just drew it in this little. Let's see if it's very quite light. Oh, I'm gonna just turn off my. There,
Filter.
that might help. Oh, the light. My workbook. I don't have to get that.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Very.
Yeah, big chaos.
Oh, big chaos. Like it's all in chaos.
Yeah, with some people and a challenge or a goal in the middle.
The challenge is in the middle of the chaos, and the people are, it seems like almost like the people are forming the support structure for what's whole on the inside.
It's interesting, this support or structure it's like it looks like a path or something, and it's in the middle, and then you come in the center. It's the goal or the challenge.
The challenge, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's in the corner of the support.
Yeah. Yeah, like maybe each challenge needs its own support, kind of. What do you think, Heather?
Well, I was thinking more like about something I'm kind of working with right now. A big kind of setting priorities for our larger organization, and so like how can we hold wholeness between us in the heart, in the middle, and create that structure where wholeness can be realized. And then there's some of us who hold the kind of the challenge that is we're wrestling with, or that's kind of at the heart. So I mean, in this case, I was just thinking myself holding the kind of bigger challenge, and actually just recognizing the ripple effect it has. That it can. I might be quite actually comfortable holding the challenge, but actually it has wider kind of implications that ripple out into other people. And sometimes that's not always. I don't always see that impact. Then it might spread. But maybe the kind of the ripples. I was kind of just thinking, how far does it go? But how does it intersect if we hold wholeness? and structure, and we can all kind of still sit with it. Even when it's not maybe our own challenge, we can kind of hold that as other people's challenges, or
Around us.
spiral into where we might be, and that maybe not knocking us off our feet so much when we have the kind of at the core the sense of wholeness and the sense of the structure that's needed to be there.
Yeah, for sure.
And I was thinking a lot about just I'm going into a meeting this afternoon and holding that space of silence to, and setting an intention, you know, the tuning in to the core. What brings us here? What is the work that we need to do together in this moment? And by maybe being silent and contemplating that, we let go of the kind of, I mean, people call it sort of innovative thinking, but sometimes it's also just hijack thinking. It's like, oh, all these other things that we get lost by what we're really trying to focus on. So maybe if we kind of sit with our whole in the middle, it's like, no, this is really where our attention is. That might help us to hone in and be more deliberate and mindful. Yeah, something like that.
Thank you, Heather.
Thanks, Heather. Okay, Carolina.
I enjoy
Oh,
it.
when I saw yours, I was like, ooh, I like Carolina's.
Yeah.
This chaos is like everything. Everything is within chaos. And yours is like that too, Heather, in a lot of ways. And then each person
Is
what'd you
whole,
say?
has the wholeness.
Each person is whole.
The fullness of who they are can be fully realized, but they also cross over. So we're not, each individual doesn't hold wholeness in isolation, but it is a relationship with each other.
It's almost like to have the wholeness, you need the connection,
the community, the interconnection.
Yeah.
Like
and then what's there? Yeah. And at the center there is a support, a person standing on this support, going out in the spiral of experiencing challenges along the way. And then still at the end, the person is there with their support inside this wholeness.
They're like bookends. They create the start. You know, if you can start in that space, and then the challenge and the chaos spirals out, but it's also contained because at the end of it, it's also been held. It's not fully out of control, the spiral.
Yeah.
And that's also in wholeness, maybe a kind of a universal principle.
There's like a universal wholeness. Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to do that too. I couldn't fit it on my page. I get that though.
So
I love the overlapping circles though with the people. That's really key. That's
yeah, this is I want to say something.
Yeah. Okay, go.
So yeah, it's interesting because when I was like thinking about each person and the wholeness of each person, and then I started drawing, and it overlapped and wasn't something that I thought about.
Oh, interesting.
And this is something that you brought like as a community, and it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like the journey to bring people to the wholeness.
Oh, into the center. So you're starting from the outside and you're moving.
So you help with some support, and then go through some changes, and then you can work more on your wholeness, or like thinking about my journey of bringing silence, space, and contemplation. So how I bring a group of people, so giving support to them, and going through this change, and sometimes chaos can be chaos too. But changing and looking to the challenge that they have, and come here with support, but being more one or oneness, or this kind of, or wholeness. But
I like that when you're whole in that center, you're still in the center of the chaos.
Yeah.
Which is real, right? It's like, it's not like the chaos goes away. You're just
never
in the eye of the storm, and you're able to kind of hold it all. Yeah.
I like this because it's the real thing, right? when we don't have chaos, when we are, you know, like, oh, it's all good, it's all, you know, life is so busy and change all the time. You're in transitions and
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
chaotic beauty as much as kind of chaotic mess. You know, that the positive and the because it gets loaded, doesn't it, when we think about chaos and the metaphor of the eye of the storm just feels like maybe out of control versus the chaos, which is actually sometimes the birth of something new or the realization that something comes out from the carnage.
Right. Hmm.
yeah, they will be here in 40 seconds. Oh, thank you for sharing,
Thank
Jane.
you for the invite.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good to have you in our little
Good.
breakout.
Yeah, that's always nice. And you get to
Totally.
hang with teachers, you know.
Hanging with the teachers. It's
Oh,
Lovely. That was really good.
yeah, and it's good that we record this and so people can have a chance to look at the drawing together.
yeah, that's nice. Yeah. Hi,
Hello.
Matt.
Hi.
Okay. So we're pretty close to our end time now. So we're just gonna do before we do a little bit of a checkout, we're just gonna do a little bit of silence together. So we're just gonna do 1 minute of that, and then we'll have a little chance to check out. So I'm gonna use old school tech for this. Hopefully you can hear this. I changed my audio settings, so I'll try my bell. Okay.
And we have,
So yeah, go ahead, Karina.
yeah, we have 3 minutes to close.
Yeah.
And just want to know what, if you can synthesize the experience here, what would be this word? But what is the word that describes your experience?
Mine is connected. And I really did not expect that from a silence retreat of an hour and a half. So I love the connection between silence and feeling connected with other people. Thank you. It was very, very beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Lord. So anyone, so you can just write in the chat or speak up if you want. Here to 2 minutes to hear you.
I'll say I arrived kind of a little flustered, full, and I'm feeling actually calm and playful. That's kind of, I'm feeling a little cheeky in the calmness. So that's kind of a nice way to be this morning.
You are, we are not hearing you, Matt.
There, I was going too hard with the silence. I'd say that my word would be amazed. I didn't really know what to expect. I just wanted to come along and stay connected to this community. And I like silence on my own. I think we should have more silence at work, but it's always difficult to do. But the actual, like being with a group of people that all were curious to try it and trying it, yeah, it's been amazing. Like the feeling of it, yeah, connected, and it's just been, yeah, it's been fun. Yeah, so I feel amazed, really. I'm really sort of delighted and surprised by how good it was.
Yeah, I think our time here it's over.
Yes, Bronwyn, we'll send you the Just Like Me's for sure. I have a list. I can send it out to everyone.
And I just want to express my gratitude here, and we may keep this amazing feeling and amazing energy and contemplation in ourselves for as long as we can.
Thank you so much, Jane and Carolina. This was exactly what I needed today. Even though I didn't have time for it, I actually didn't have time not to be here.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
Yeah.
Likewise. Likewise.
And I'll stay for a couple minutes too, if anybody wants to stay and ask questions or anything.
Meetings.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. Have a nice day.
Bye.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
I have a little question around in person. Have you ever done this in person?
Lots.
Okay. And it is as powerful, if not more, than here, I guess.
Yeah.
Virtual
Yeah.
world.
I would say it's very powerful. My sense, and Carolina might have different sense, but my sense is that in the real world, when we're physically together and doing this work, which I've done in another realm, which is like a meditation practice realm and working with a meditation community, the feeling is a much more palpable, and sometimes can be the chaos part can come in a lot more, that sense of like unknown, the real energy that exchanges between people. And sometimes we call that the we space, that energy that gets exchanged and gets developed between people, whether in a group or in one-on-one pairs, is very powerful. And you have to have a really strong container. So I find what I love about doing it virtually is that because we're all in an environment that hopefully we feel safe in, whether it's our home or the office that we've created for ourselves, but the space, we're using that space to hold us in this.
Right.
We're reaching out, we're connecting, so we're vulnerable, but we still have this space around us that's safe for us. So when you're in an in-person environment, you've lost that sense of this is my personal safety space. So you have to recreate that in the physical space first.
True.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This question is interesting because it's like we start doing that in person and then we recreate that for virtual. And now we are coming back to the in person. And I like that because I just feel different. And I feel like as powerful as it is, there are different challenges in both. And I think you just need to know what are the challenges, so the ones that James said, and in virtual others. And so how you're going to deal with that and to hold this space for everybody to really have the experience.
I had a similar question. I wondered if you've done done another iteration of this session before, or is this the first time you've tried it?
The first time you and we've done it together, Carolina.
Yeah.
But I've done it with my groups that I run in my community work that I do. So, we've done quite a bit of it for working with really powerful emotions like grief and loss and stuff like that. Compassion, resilience, a lot in this compassion resilience world too that I work in too.
I thought the Just Like Me exercise framed the rest of it really well, because it's sort of when you were stuck on a one-to-one with a stranger, you were in a good place to work with that situation, having just done that exercise. It sort of primed us well for that.
Yeah.
I learned that just like me in a different space. So I work with restorative justice, and so it was a peace and justice group of people, and that we need to learn how to not judge others and really be open for others' perspective. They truly are. So then you don't expect anything, just, oh, you are, guilty, or you are this, or you are that, and just get out of this space. So the silence and all this practice in this setting is very, very important. So my practice is more on that realm, conflict resolution, this kind of thing.
Do you find as facilitators, has it required in the past some bravery to ask people to invite people to do this? I feel afraid as a facilitator to invite people to do this, honestly.
Yeah, I would say if you don't feel afraid, then you're not doing it right.
Yeah. Right.
It's definitely it feels risky. It feels risky, right? But the worst thing that can happen, this is the way what I always tell myself, is the worst thing that can happen is nothing. The person doesn't feel anything. And you move on. If you're not doing it as like a whole session like we are, when you're doing it as a whole session like we are, people are coming for this. So
true.
We can be a lot more risky, right?
Yeah.
So, but if you're incorporating it into something that's not just this, then you have a shorter thing that's happening, right? So it's something more concise, more contained. And if it doesn't work for some people, it's okay. It doesn't work for some people.
Well, and I think about deepening levels of vulnerability, slowly iterating that over time. So when I wanted to start my morning yoga practice, I just did down dog for 3 weeks, and that's it. Even though my yoga teacher would say, do downward facing dog and then anything else you want. I was like, no, I just need to get on my mat. So I'm just offering that as an example of, like, if silence is uncomfortable in your workplace, we're just going to take one deep breath together, just one. And build it. And even like, I'm curious too, tying it to something they care about. And if they're science people, like, research has shown when we're silent together, I don't know what the research has shown, but some people who need, like, I didn't need any convincing to come to this, but not too much, but
it's very interesting because I heard, like, I work a lot with big corporations and like big multinationals, and I work with the board of the biggest company in Brazil, a mining company. So can you imagine the people there? Only men, white men, and
busy, very important.